Uh, Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rodrigo Solis. I am the Human Network and Data Coordinator for eButterfly. Uh, Thank you so much for people that attended to the webinar uh, earlier today. As people realized during our webinar, I failed to record the first 15 minutes or so of the webinar. So I'm re-recording that part of the webinar, uh, merging it with the rest of the recording that I did do. So hopefully you enjoy. So before we get started, the objective of this talk is to introduce our brand new mobile app, as well as a very general overview of what is eButterfly and our platform overall. There are tons of features that we have, and I wouldn't be able to describe all of them in just 1 hour. So this is just going to be a very general introduction. The idea is every month having a short webinar just focused on a specific feature that we can discuss and really delve into. Without further ado, let's get started. And before presenting the actual mobile app, which I know most of people, that's why they joined today the webinar. I'm just gonna give you a quick set of slides of about what is eButterfly and what we do. So let's just share my screen here. There we goes. Okay, so again, this is about eButterfly and our website, as you can see here at the bottom of slide, www.e-butterfly.org. That's our website. So let's just talk about why eButterfly. So the first question that I get when I start talking about eButterfly, when I start telling people, hey, you should use eButterfly, is like, hey, why should I do it? I already submit my observations to this or that other community of science platforms, for example, iNaturalist. So we are also a community science platform, but we are just focused on butterflies at the global scale. So we receive butterfly observations from anywhere around the world, but just butterflies. Keep in mind, this is just moths. We don't take care of moths. We don't accept moths. That it is just butterflies. We are proud of innovating in conservation technology. There are many side projects that we have where we are using that kind of technology. What you can see in the platform per se, it's our very good AI recognition, species recognition tool. I'm gonna show it to you in a second. But there are many other things that we are doing to push that envelope of how technology can help conservation. And finally, something that we are very proud of is our commitment to data accessibility. That this means that in the end, we are here for conservation and we cannot do it alone. So all the information that comes in, we do our best to share it back to researchers, to decision makers as soon as possible, so it can be turned into conservation measures for the species that we are, for the butterflies that we are so interested to protect. So, and I mean, that might be a bit sometimes hard to know, but it's a hard truth. It is not always that clear when you submit to a community science platform what's going to happen to your data. There are many platforms or many initiatives that you might submit your data and they keep it and they will not share it, or it's going to be very difficult for researchers to access those databases. And that is just time that we don't have that time for when we're talking about conservation. We, every 24 hours, we upload our entire database to GBIF, which is a central repository that any researcher can access anytime. just to ensure that the data is out there. And I mean, just as a few examples, these are papers that have cited our database, that have used our database on their research, and again, which can finally, in the end, ultimately be used for conservation measures. So why eButterfly? The most important thing, and if there is one thing that I could tell you, like take-home message from this presentation, is the checklisting approach. That is why we are so committed with eButterfly. That is the answer that I give to people when they tell me, hey, I already submit to INAT. Why should I submit to eButterfly? Well, it is a checklisting approach. So let's talk a little bit about that. And this is going to be with an example. Let's say that you go out in the field and you see these 5 butterflies. So 4 monarchs and 1 blue emperor. So now you have a choice to make. You take out your mobile phone and you see 2 icons. You either open whatever other platform or you open eButterfly to report those butterflies. So let's say you opened the other platform, whichever you like. How would you do it? Well, easily, right? I saw 4 monarchs and I saw 1 blue emperor. That is the basic trick, right? Just 4 monarchs, 1 blue emperor. That's it. Alternatively, you could open eButterfly and submit exactly the same, but as a package that we call a checklist. So why is that so important? Well, a checklist will say, I saw 4 monarchs, 1 blue emperor, and gives you a unit of effort. In this example would be time. So I saw 4 monarchs and 1 blue emperor in 10 minutes. So that unit of time, that unit of effort, that can be also reported with us as distance, as area, is gold for researchers. That tells you a lot of things. Just a very silly example. If I told you I ate 5 cookies, it's not the same that I ate those 5 cookies in 5 seconds or in 5 hours. However, with the first option, submitting through those blue arrows, you cannot know if I ate them in 5 seconds or 5 hours. But with eButterfly, you can. And that is just gold for researchers. It gives a lot more information that they can work with. So it's way more useful. So that is the most important thing that you have to keep in mind. And we're going to touch a little bit more about checklists once we go into the website and the mobile app. So how does that translate into eButterfly? Well, let's talk something about numbers. These are numbers that I just pulled out today from our site. So far we have 2,195 different species reported that I can concentrated in around 130,000 checklists with more than 500,000 observations, almost 4,000 active users, and more than 2,800 identifiers. So that is our entire community, that they already understood the importance of checklisting and why it is important to contribute via eButterfly. So, and also you can just see it in numbers throughout time. We started in Canada almost 12 years ago, then moved to North America. Then in 2019, we expanded to Central and South America. And then just a couple of years ago, we went worldwide. And as you can see, like observations are just start coming all over the place. So people are getting the message and they are getting committed. So one thing that I could ask you is jump in the wagon and just pass on the message of why it's important checklisting approach. And not only with butterflies. For example, with birds, eBird does the same. They also have a checklisting approach. So the same. If you see a bird out there, great. You can use AI naturalist to identify that bird or whatever. But if you want to actually provide a lot for conserving that specific bird, eBird is the best. And the same for butterflies would be eButterfly. Now, other than checklists, some other things that make eButterfly what it is today are sampling protocol. So different ways of how to report that unit of effort that we just talked about. Multi-level vetting, that we're going to talk about that in a second. The best AI speech recognition tool out there. And I mean, I was in Panama and Colombia a bit more than a month ago, and even myself, I was impressed of how good it was. It was just like killing it. All the butterflies that I would just snap the worst pictures ever, and it would tell me the species. So you should give it a try. Then I'll show you how to do that in a second. Also, we have a great community of experts, people that are committed, again, with what we do, how we do it, and that they just have the know-how, and they are so willing to share it with the rest of the community, to teach how to identify a butterfly, how to approach a butterfly for a photo, for example, and just to share. Our community is great, and so we really hope you can experience it as well. And we have multiple tools. Call it discussion forum, call it projects, call it the AI, tons of them. Now, I'm not going to have time to discuss all of them today here, but just give it a try, experiment them. And of course, we're going to have webinars to talk about those in specific very soon. But the one that I want to talk about is the crowdsourced vetting. Why? Because I receive quite often questions, messages from people telling me, hey, I already submitted my observation. So what's next? Who's going to tell me if I am correct? If the species that I suggested is correct? Who's going to vet it? Well, this is through a crowdsourced approach. So what does that mean? Basically, everybody, the whole entire community are responsible for vetting and for identifying. And it is through a voting system that it's quite similar in some ways to the way iNaturalist does it. iNaturalist does it, if you're acquainted with iNat, but with some very important differences that we're going to discuss about. So let's go to the basics first. Let's say I go out in the field and they take this, snap this picture of this monarch. So the very first thing that is going to happen when I submit it is that it will get this yellow tag that says needs ID. That means that the community hasn't participated yet. They haven't vetted that this is a monarch, and it is only me saying it. So what do I need for it to be vetted? Two things. First, having more than 2 votes about that ID, which right now I don't have. It's only me, so I only have 1 vote. And that 66% or more, meaning 2/3 or more of all those votes agree on a specific identity. So in this case, I would need 2/3 of people agreeing that this is a monarch. So how would that be? Just second person comes, like this example, and they say, oh yeah, it's a monarch. So if you see half me, half the other person, it's 100% agreed that it is a monarch. Perfect. The tag changes from yellow to green and says identified. So now this is vetted and awesome. But this is not the end of the story. The good thing about the system is that it is dynamic. So it just can keep improving. So more people can just jump in and say, yes, it is. No, it is not. And just keep improving. So that's why you shouldn't feel maybe worried that, hey, should I vote or not because I'm not sure. No, do it. In the end, more people will come and will vote against or in favor of your ID, and will teach you why, and you will have the chance of agreeing or disagreeing with that. So it just keeps refining itself over time. On average, photo submissions with photos might take around 1 to 2 weeks to get vetted. All depends on the location and the species, the quality of the photo, etc. But it's something around that. Now, if you submit without a photo, it might take some more time because there's not a lot of people that are willing to vote on a submission without a photo, but you can totally do it. Why? Because if you, first, you as a submitter, you can submit it without a photo. Ideally, you want to put in a little description, which you can do it in the field notes. You describe the butterfly. But people that are a bit more experienced will see your submission without a photo, and based on the location and time of the year, they might be able to say, yeah, this might be a monarch, or no, it's impossible that this is a monarch. So they can vote against, for or against your ID. Don't worry in the end if it gets vetted or not, or whatever, if it has no photo. In the end, we export all that and we give all that to researchers, either vetted or not, but with a tag saying that, oh, this is vetted, this is not, this has a photo, and this doesn't have a photo, has a photo. And it's going to be like decision up to the researcher to say, I'm going to trust it or not. So just submit it. Now, let's say that this second person came and said, that is not a monarch, that is a queen. So then I have 50% of the votes for and 50% of the votes against. So this, again, would not pass the threshold of identified. However, if you're a bit acquainted with taxonomy, you might know that the monarch and the queen, they both are Danaeus. So one is Danaeus plexippus, the other is Danaeus gillipus. This means that we didn't agree on the species, but we agreed that it's the same genus Danaeus. So we have this level, which can be marked as vetted, but as what we call an incomplete identification. So in this case, we agree that it's genus Danaeus, and only until a third person comes and says, oh yeah, it's monarch, it's queen, or something else, it might change again. But it gets marked as genus identified. And we have that same to the genus level, to the family level, to the tribe level, to the different levels in the taxonomic tree. So yeah, let's say that a third person comes and that third person agrees with me and disagrees with the other person. So now it's 66% of us that say this is a monarch, 33% that it is a queen. So this is it's meeting the two rules, more than two people voting and 66% or more agreeing. So gets marked again as identified. So this is a quick summary of how that would work. And again, any of you, and please do it, go in the main menu, on the main menu of our website, says identify. Click it, and you can access all the observations that you can identify. I'm going to discuss a little bit more about that once we go to the website. So anyways. So that so far are like the basics of how the vetting works, but that is not like reinventing the wheel. I'm sure that if you're acquainted with, for example, the vetting style of iNaturalist, it is basically the same. However, there is a very important difference that you should be aware how this works. And that is that it is not the same a person that has 20 years of experience vetting butterflies, that they know their butterflies super well, than a person that maybe just started yesterday. In INAT, is the same. The vote of one is worth exactly than the word of the other. In our case, we tried to balance out things a little bit more on that regard through our multi-level crowdsourcing vetting system. And that basically it is, the more experience you have within our site, the more your vote will be worth. So as soon as you sign up, you will get this green badge that you see on the extreme left, which says new. That means that your vote is worth 1. So every time that you vote, your vote will be worth that. But the more experience you keep accumulating within the site, either with identification, so participating, identifying other observations, or submitting different species of butterflies, once you cross the threshold, in this case of 100 identifications and 25 species submitted, you get promoted to the next level, which is guide, this blue badge here. That gives you 2 votes. And the same, you can be upgraded to expert if you have 1,000 identifications and 75 species submitted. And you can go all the way up to curator, which is worth 4 votes, which basically is an overriding power that you have with that level. Now, you might say, wow, 10,000 identifications, 250 species submitted. Who's going to make that? Well, just in this call, we have 4 curators right now. And we have plenty of curators that are just dedicated to what they do. Anyways, so let's share my screen from here. Let me just find where. There we go. Okay. So I hope people can see this. Please, for the ones that have a video on, just thumbs up if you can see my cell phone screen. Thumbs up. Nope. Peter, can you see my yes? Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's get started here. So as soon as you download your app, you can download it from for Android and iOS. It's available in those stores. Just type eButterfly and it will appear. So of course, the first thing that you would do is get a username, get a password, sign up just as with any other regular account, and just get started. Now, very important, if you are a returning user, just make sure that your username has the same capitalization as when you signed up. We've seen some users that they had it with capitalized, and they were having trouble signing up. So let's just remember that. Anyways, so you're out in the field, you're ready to start your observation. What should we do? Okay, when you open this app, as you can see, and let's just show the tab so you can see it better. Yeah, so if you see, we have the date already pre-filled and the start time already pre-filled. So that is assuming that you are out in the field and you are going to do it right there, which is the idea of this app. However, you can override it. Just tap there, and you can change the date, the same with the time. But let's say, okay, I'm out in the field. Let's get started. Let's start a checklist. Oh, sorry. Let's start a checklist. So this is the first screen that you will see when you are starting your checklist. Okay, it's an empty screen because you haven't seen a single butterfly yet. So from here, you have 2 options. Either you search for a species, so you know what you saw. So you can just type here, oh, I saw a monarch. And sorry, as you will see, I always use monarchs as examples because that is my species. So I saw a monarch. So if you see while I'm typing, it starts filtering all the species that have that specific name. Now, be careful. With common names, it's very common that is just not the name that we use, because butterflies can have like 10 different common names. So sometimes it's a good idea trying to start remembering at least the most common scientific names. And those ideally shouldn't change that much, ideally. So let's say I saw a monarch. So if you see the very first one, it says monarch. But I was very lucky, and actually I saw 3. What do? Just tap that plus sign 1, 2, 3 times. And there you go.
So I'm done with my search, done search. So I return to the previous screen, but if you see, I already have that first item recorded, which is my monarch. Let's do it again, and let's say that I saw maybe I saw a pierid, but I got no idea what it was. I just know it was a white butterfly that looks like a pierid. Well, you can submit incomplete observations, just like only to the genus level, only to the family level, and so on. So let's say it was a pierid. So if you see the first one that appears is whites and sulfurs, which is a pierid. So let's put it here. One, done search. So there we go, whites and sulfurs. Now, photos. That's a beautiful thing about butterflies. You want to submit a photo. Okay, one thing is, I know that it was a monarch, but I still want to upload a photo of that monarch. Let's say about this sulfur. I click on it, and as soon as I tapped on it, this detailed page opened. Here, I can put notes. As I was telling you, if you didn't have a photo, this is a good place where to type the description of the butterfly. Oh, let me admit a person from the waiting room. There you go. Also, you can here change the count. How many did you see? Pro tip, if they were uncountable, you can actually delete and put an X. That X means they were uncountable. And that's okay, that's fine. But I actually saw one. And data usage as well. Here is, for example, if you don't want people to know your exact location, maybe because this is an endangered species, maybe it's your backyard and you don't want people to know where your backyard is, you can just type here and select this level of confidentiality, okay? Really quick, each level of confidentiality will either be public, sensitive, will round up the geolocation, so it's like a 200 square kilometer blurriness around your location, and confidential, people will just not see it, okay? Just be aware, this is how your location will be set, not just that observation. The entire location will be blurred, but just leave it as public. And finally, you can from here add an image. You can either take a picture or upload a file. So for example, right now, I can take a picture of this guy, which of course is not a monarch. And there you go. Well, since I know it's a monarch, I know, sorry, it was a white sulfur. It's another white sulfur. I can just tap on it and I delete it. So I can also just change my mind, and maybe I don't want this. So if you see this, there is a trash can icon in the top. Whoa, sorry, I stopped sharing. I think I stopped sharing. Yes. Let me just try share again. I think I tapped the stop sharing by mistake. Screen. Stop broadcast. Sorry about that. There we go. I'm back. Okay. So I can change my mind. So if I tap that trash can, I can just click delete, and there you go. It goes. So if you see, I still have the whites and sulfurs, but it just has a plus. So it means that 0. There's nothing. I didn't see anything. So the other option is just I snap a picture, but I got no idea what that was. So that's when the AI is very useful. So if you see in the top part, we have this text box, but we also have this little camera. So if I tap the camera, it opens the AI module. This AI module, if I tap on that gray square, will allow me either to open my camera and snap a picture of whatever butterfly is going around. By the way, we'll snap the photo and we'll save it in your camera reel in your gallery, as well as upload it to the app. But you can also upload a file. So if I click here and upload the file, for example, let's just upload. Just this morning, I went out and I snapped this picture, and I swear I did it this morning. So this is cabbage white, right? So just, by the way, if you saw, you can crop your image as I did it. Let's identify, and yeah, 97% confidence that it was a cabbage white. So let's just click add to checklist, and there you go. If you see, the third item that I have on my list says cabbage white. 1. If I tap in the detail, oh, sorry, I closed the page. Let's just continue with it. Yeah, there you go. If I tap, there is a photo. So, and then that's the basic idea. You just keep growing your checklist until you are done. Okay. So, by the way, also from here, you can also change your location. Let's say I'm not doing it right in the spot, but maybe I did it afterwards. So if you tap in the, let me just show it. Up here, you see that green icon. That green icon, if I tap it, will open a map where you can select exactly the location where things happened. And it will just update your GPS location. Just a side note. And the same happens with the calendar. If you want to change the date, you can see it there. So then I'm done. I'm super hot. So I'm back in the AC with my car on, and then I just want to put the details of my checklist. So this is the checklist details page. Okay. Here, you can also change the geolocation again with the green pin that you see on the top. You can also change the name of your location. Now, this name of the location is whatever you want to put. That is for you. So, for example, I can put here backyard. Perfect. That is my backyard. Or whatever is for you. So you can go back to that location whenever you want. Then you can submit, the next thing, by the way, all those red asterisks mean things are mandatory. So you have to select a checklist type. So how do you want to measure that unit of effort that we talked about? So if I tap on it, you can do it. We have traveling survey, means you are measuring by distance. Area survey, so an area that you went about. Point count is you stayed still and just saw whatever was happening around during a certain period of time. Time count, just by yeah, as it says, by time. Historical, which is super flexible for people that have, for example, very old records and they just want to like upload them to the site. This is very flexible, so you can just enter whatever you have and whatever you don't, that's okay. Incidental, this is basically the way you would submit it in iNaturalist. Incidental is just one, and it has no effort at all. So even though it might be the easier, it's not recommended because you're not giving any effort. So, I mean, at least time count, you know at what time you got there, because actually the app is telling you that, for example, I started the checklist at 15:23 Pacific time. And I know that right now is 3:34. So it was 11 minutes. And we have other like bait trap, polar walk, and even we have some specific ones, for example, the India time constraint count that can only happen in 30-minute interval. So let's say I did a time count. So if you see, as soon as I selected, the fields underneath, they changed. So they are asking me in which date. It's already pre-filled, it's today, but you can override it. Party size, so how many people were with me? For example, this time, I was with another person, so we were 2 people walking there. How much time? Let's say it was 11 minutes, because, yeah, we started at 3:23. And then we have these 2 questions. First one is if your checklist is complete. People sometimes get a bit scared, like, what do you mean what complete is? No, it's just, are you 100% sure that you saw the butterflies that you were able to see? Or maybe you missed one? Because it happens. Maybe you were spending so much time taking a photo of a specific one and other 20 flew around you. That especially happens in the tropics. So no, I'm not sure. So you can just tap no. If you're sure that you put all your attention in it and you reported all the ones that you could have seen, then you tap yes. So you just tap whatever you want. And then it's asking you if this is a butterfly house. So why? Because we started getting some reports of tropical butterflies from Ontario in the winter. And it was like, how is that happening? Well, it's people that were just reporting from a butterfly house, and that's fine. Just it's nice for them to tap here. So we know it is just like it's not a rare finding, it's just a butterfly house. And then you have here remarks. Here, some very, very meticulous people, not me, they tap here, for example, what was the temperature, what was the wind, what was the location, what was the behavior of butterflies, etc. You can type here whatever you want. And finally, we have here update species. And here you can just go back to your to the checklisting in case you remember that you want to add something else, you want to change something else. That's fine. So I'm just gonna cancel it because I'm not gonna submit it because I don't want to put bogus data in there in the database. But that's basically the gist of submitting the checklist. Now, before going, let me just check the Q&A really quick to see if people have questions about this part. Does the AI work when there is no self-service? No, unfortunately, no. But you can take a picture, and then when you're back with service, you can run the AI on that specific file again. We are working on like compressing the AI model so it can be used offline. However, it's a very interesting sweet balance because those models are huge. And that would take maybe, I don't know, 3 gigabytes of storage in your cell phone, and you would be pretty mad about it. So it's trying to find that sweet balance. So yeah, our team is working on that. So but as of now, no, it's just offline and online. And actually the app will let you know when that happens. We all also have a question that like any place for caterpillars. Yes, you can submit caterpillars and the AI also works with them. I totally can admit not as good as with adult butterflies because we don't have that many records, but it works pretty well. So yes, you can submit it. Does this image size matter? Less than 10 megabytes? As of last month, yes, we are accepting less than 10 megabytes. Our developer who's going to change that, I'm not sure if that deployment is done. As of now, it's 10. Let's just assume it's 10 megabytes. As soon as we make that change, we're going to let you guys know. We have, is a polar walk the route reported to a polar base? If not, what it is, yes, it's basically that. Then we have another ones about more general, which I'm going to answer at the end. Perfect. And sorry, I'm seeing a lot of questions, and I'm going to try to summarize them as much as I can. Now, the other part that might be very interesting for you guys of the app is, of course, the identify standalone section. So if you see from the bottom menu, you have the one that we are at right now, which is submit. Then we have identify. We have checklist and settings. So the second one, which is identify, well, it's telling me that, hey, do you want to stop the checklist that you had in progress? Yes, sure. So if you see, when I tap identify, basically it opens the same module that it was used when I was growing my checklist, but as a standalone. Okay. So from here, I can do exactly the same, either take a picture of uploading a file, but one word of caution. Well, two. First, our AI model takes into account not only the file, but also the location, and is the location of your device. So if you are uploading a file, but maybe something that I snapped in Colombia, and then I'm here sitting in Vancouver and I want to upload that photo, it's going to give me really weird suggestions. So how to override that? Same as I told you before. If you see in the top corner, here you can override the location. And I would just, for example, tap there and go to Colombia. I tap there, and then the model will assume that you're in Colombia. Same with the date. The model also takes into account the date. It's not the same butterflies that you see in June than the ones that you see in January. So it will take that into account. So again, if the photo happened elsewhere and at any other time, just override those values. But the same, you just tap, upload the file. For example, let's upload the cabbage white and just let's make it work harder this time. This is the same cabbage white that I snapped before, but maybe you cannot even see it. But if we zoom it, it's here. It's just like that white blob. To be honest, I haven't run it yet. Let's see if it works. Yes, cabbage white, 91% confidence that it was a cabbage white. So it works pretty well, as you can see. So gives you here the suggestions. You just select it, and if you see says add to incidental checklist, here we'll assume that it was just something that happened really quick and just snap a picture. So you don't have any unit of effort, so it's going to be submitted as an incidental. So I tap yes, and it opens the checklist details, but if you see it's already selected as incidental, you can override it. And from here, you can start a larger checklist if you want, but it will assume first as a starting point that it is an incidental. Now, just a quick word in just a maybe next month, we are going to add a little module in the AI suggestions where you can reject the suggestion and choose another one. So that's going to happen very soon, just for you to keep in mind. So again, you can here put all the details of your checklist, and there you go. Let's just delete it because again, I don't want to submit any bogus information. So, and sorry, I'm going to do something really quick. And Max, if it is okay with you, I'm going to put you as co-host. So if you can type some answers to the Q&As, the ones that you see around. So, I'm giving direction to my boss. That's nice. There you go. Hopefully you can use check the Q&A, Max. Anyways, so that is like how to use the app. The very last part that I want to show you is the third option on the bottom menu, which is checklists. Here you will see, very important, don't get scared. These are the checklists from your device, not all your checklists that you have in your eButterfly account. Okay, these are just, for example, in my case, I might have like, I don't know, like 600 checklists, but I only see here what, like 6, because that is to save data. We don't want to overburden the devices with data. It's just the one. This is just like a staging place, storing place for you to keep your checklist until they get uploaded. But while they are here, if you want to delete them, just swipe left and you can delete them. If you want to edit it, just swipe right and you can edit it. If you want to access it, just tap on it and it will show it to you and you can access and see it will tell you the photos that it has. Again, to avoid overburdening of data, you cannot see the photos from here, but it will tell you that it has 3 photos. All of this of overburdening data is just because most of the times, if you're out in the field, you might have really poor internet connection. You don't want to be pulling data like crazy. Now, speaking of which, if you are outside of the area, if you don't have connection, you still can create your checklist and submit it. But instead of going straight into the database, it will be put in this. If you swipe here and you see this tab that says not submitted, the checklist will go there and it will stay there because, of course, there's no internet. You cannot upload it, but it will stay there. So once you come back to connection, you just enter there and you will see a button that says try resubmission. So you resubmit and goes up. There you go. So finally, just settings, you will see here is the very basic, and you can see here many things, but including the help portal is the third option. There you can see all our help resources that we are growing every day. Finally, and this actually is going to be a nice segue to the actual website. If you want to see your checklists, all of them, the only way right now is actually going to the website. And you can do it actually just by tapping the green text at the top that says view all your checklists. View all your checklists online. So if you tap it, it will open all your checklists from the website. And from here, if you see that blue pencil, allows you to edit any checklist that you want. But I'm going to stop there. I'm going to show it now from my computer, not from the micro screen of my cell phone. And while I switch, let me just stop sharing and see if there are any pictures around, any questions. If 4 in a party do all submit data? That is a very good question. Ideally, no. Ideally, it would be just one person, and then you can share the checklist with that person. There is a sharing option. I'm going to show it to you in a second. So let's just stop here. Move to the website. Sorry, it's too many screens. And let's start sharing here. And this is already, we have like 10 to 15 minutes. So it's just super superficial walkthrough. Again, we're going to have dedicated webinar next month to talk about the site per se. Okay. But of course, if you have any questions, don't wait until that moment. Just shoot me an email. Shoot me a message. I'll be super happy to reply. How to do it? Either super easy, eButterfly at vtecostudies.org. I'm going to type it in a second. But even easier, in any part of the website, lower right corner, you will see this green logo that says help. If you tap on it, contact us. This form, you'll send me an email and I'll be happy to read a message from you. Okay. So anyways, when you log into eButterfly again, you have to put in all your credentials and all that normal stuff. You will see this homepage. So from this homepage, you see all our stats. You see our latest news. By the way, people were informed about this webinar from there, and we are going to post the video of this webinar, including the part that I didn't record, but I'm going to record again. We're going to post it there. And then we have other things, like, for example, top-up service of the month, including photos, checklists, and species, the latest photos, which is always beautiful to see them, and so on. But the interesting thing happens up here. So first, we have in the top left, we have the main menu. We have about, submit, explore, identify projects, help, forum, and donate. So submit basically is the same that I just showed you in the app, but is organized a bit different. So let's see it super quick. You click submit. So again, I was out in the field. This is more about maybe I just went out, took some notes, maybe snap some pictures, and I want to come back and do it in my home, submit in my checklist. You can do it from here. So from here, you can just tap whatever in the map. It will give you the geolocation, the country, the province, all that. You can also search it as being Google Maps. So let's say I was, for example, at the Montreal Insectarium. So you just let's say in the international airport, because I don't know how. Yeah, there you go. Let's say I was in the airport of Montreal. So it already put me here, the geolocation and everything. I can fine tune the location just by tapping on the screen on the map. And if you remember from the app, I told you, you can put whatever name you want to the location. I put backyard. So why did I do that? Because the idea is that you should go back to those locations over and over and over again to keep growing your checklist of that particular place. If you see, this second tab says my recent locations. So these are actually my locations. And if I would have submitted that checklist that I showed you, you would have seen here backyard. And I have one that is called test. Sorry, I was testing. But here are all my different locations. And I can type, for example, there's one that was called Moore State. There we go. So I tap on that. It will take me there to New Brunswick, to that location. So anyways, that is step one, is what we call step one. And super easy. Step one is, where do you see it? Now we go to step two. Let's put a location. Let's put test again. Step two, how did you see it? So this is basically a checklist details that you saw on the mobile app. Is this same? On the left side, we have all the sampling protocols with a little explanation of what is the meaning of each of those. And we have if I tap on each of them, you will see on the right, the text fields change because it's asking you different information. And to answer one of the questions of a person that asked, yes, when you are, like many people were involved and all of you guys are from eButterfly, you can just say, for example, here, oh, we were 2 people and I want to share it with you. So for example, I want to share it with, I don't know, with Ken McFarland. So I start typing his username and there it is. So whenever I submit this checklist, Kent will receive a message asking him if he wants to accept that sharing. And that checklist will be part of his live list as well. So let's just put here some bogus data. Let's see if it was today. I traveled 200 meters. It was this time, just 12 minutes. I was super fast, so on. Again, here you should put if it was a butterfly house or not. And let's just move next. And then you have here step 3, which is where you're going to be growing your checklist. It's basically the same. Here you can put a bit more information than in the mobile app. So you can either add a species just regularly, and you will see this, what we call the species cards. So each of these rectangles represent a species. So let's just open one. Let's just delete with this one. And then you can say, oh, I saw the 2, let's say, again, it was a monarch, and data usage, basis of record. So like here you can say if it was collected, about photograph, caught or released, ruled, killed. So a bit more information that can put here. And even if you expand with this arrow, you can say if it was a male, female, unknown sex, X, crystals. All of this is optional, but you can put it. You can also put additional things in field notes. If they were mating, if they were feeding, if they were pollen, whatever, you can put it here. So, and of course, you can add images from here, okay? To answer that question before, as I told you, here says the maximum image size is 10 megabytes. That's going to be bumped a little bit soon, but you can upload a photo from here. You can also do it using the AI. Just so instead of this first square, you click on the second one, and it will open our AI module where you can either drag a photo or just upload it from your file. So let's drag, for example, this guy here. So here you can, same as in mobile, you can crop your image. I would recommend you do it because that improves the prediction. You run your prediction, and there you go. It tells you what it is. If you want to know more about that species, just click on the blue text, and it will open the species profile for that species, which is going to show you more images, flight period, more details about that species. So let's say, yeah, use the selected suggestion. So if you see, it already opened here a new species card with that species here with Limnatus artemis and with the photo. Here, then I'll just put, oh, there were 2 or whatever. So you can do it also even from this original flow that I showed you, just opening a regular card, just add an image, just drag another image there. Where are my images? I already lost my images. Let's say butterfly images. Let's upload. Oh, for example, let's say if it, oh, it's too large, maximum 10 megabytes. I wanted to see if would identify that caterpillar. So let's check this one. So for example, this one, I uploaded, I gave it a name, but of course it's not a monarch. But you can also always double check it whenever you see this logo here, eButterfly AI with purple. If I tap on it, it will run the AI and it will tell you, you know, you are wrong. That is not a monarch. That is a fritillary. Okay. And it changed the name. Okay. So that is basically how you submit. Then again, you will get here the question if it is a complete checklist or not. You just answer it and finish. Again, I'm not going to submit, so I don't enter any bogus data. But that is one thing. The other thing, and this is a homework that I would love to leave to all of you, is the identify section. So we already saw how to submit. What happens after? I showed you at the beginning how this voting scheme works. So here it is in action. From the identify menu, you have here is a list of all the butterflies that are yet to be identified by you. So of course, there are thousands of them. So each of them you can just access and vote on them. For example, let's say this guy. So this user, GGC Bird, they say it is a Horace's dusky wing. So let's see from the expert. Peter, is this a Horace's dusky wing? Thumbs up. It is. Okay, perfect. Let's see. You can agree and just agree, and this is a Horace's dusky wing. And I'm already here in the identification of this history of this observation. So Now, if I look for this observation, I'm just going to open it in a new window. It's here. You see, this is the observation, and it's already marked as identified because I already voted. So it's my votes, which I'm a curator. So I have 4 votes plus 1 of this person. We are 5 votes agreeing that this is a Horus's dusky wing. But also, I like technologies for something. You can double check it. So you can also run the AI from here. Let's see if the AI agrees. Yes, Horus's dusky wing, 95% confidence. Oh, I run it again. I don't know why. And here it's telling me Horus's dusky wing and has this little purple butterfly saying that this was a AI suggestion. And there you go. This person already has this identified. So guys, go and do it. It's super fun. You'll learn a lot doing this. You really learn a lot. And if you don't feel, if you say like, hey, I'm from Ontario. I got no idea about Chinese butterflies or butterflies from India or whatever, because we have butterflies from all over the world. How can I do it? Well, you can just type here, Ontario, Canada. And it will filter just those observations from your location. Also, you can say, hey, I'm not that expert to know if something isn't butterfly, that species, without a photo. Well, click on advanced filters. You can say, just show me the ones that have photo. Perfect. And I can say, hey, I want to really know what my friend, I'm sorry, Peter, I'm picking on you, Peter Hall is doing. So you can actually just search for that user and just search the observations from that user and vote on them only. Or you can do whatever you want. You can also, for example, I'm an expert in monarchs. I'm just going to search monarchs, suggested monarchs. There you go. So it's very fun. It's super fun. You do it. There's no harm in doing it, because in the end, if you misidentify something, the same community will keep voting and teaching you and making things better. Which brings me to this last point about identify. Whenever you identify something, especially if you disagree with someone, do your best to not only write down here, for example, I'm writing down it is a dainty sulfur just to agree with this person. Don't only do that, but you can actually type here, oh, you're right, this is a dainty sulfur because this, or that, or I disagree because this, or that. That way you teach people why you are deciding this or that suggestion. That's what we want to do here. We want to pass the torch. We want to teach people how to identify this species. So that's basically the identify. And finally, because I don't want to bore you, we have projects. And I know a lot of you will be very happy about this. So projects is exactly that. Our specific dashboards that any of you can create for your needs, from butterfly counts, blitzes, classrooms, just your personal collection. You can create it here. We have some amazing ones. For example, I created this one, Butterflies of Panama. So if I tap on it, it opens. And by the way, we're working on a lot more functionalities for the projects, and will come very soon. So I can see we have 634 species from Panama. We have 3,000 observations. These are all the photos from Panama. So you can consider it that is like a very advanced filter, predefined filter that you created just for you. Any person can do it. For example, the atlas from Vermont, it's beautiful. Second atlas for Vermont. So all of the butterflies from Vermont, they are just concentrated here. And you can see who's who's leading, for example, this user Tarmat, awesome. Who's leading the charge in Vermont? What are the observations that are happening? Even you can click here, identify, and go to identify only the butterflies from your project, so on. So there are tons of configurations that you can make, so you can make the project for you, and many more coming. For example, drawing polygons on a map, so you can just capture observations within that polygon. That's going to be awesome. Not happening yet, but in a couple of months, we will have it out. And how do you do it? Just tapping here and create new. Create new. If you are not tired of my voice already, you can watch here a YouTube video explaining you in lots of detail how to do it. But basically, you create a project, and here you have all the interface of how to create it. I'm not going to do it here, but just for you to know. Finally, not just for you to know. Then we have notifications panel, this bell. Here you will see all the interactions with your observations. People agreed or disagreed with your observations. Just that, I'm gonna say just that, just for sakes of time. We have the inbox, so we have an internal messaging system. We have the user menu where you can see all your stats and all your observations. For example, if I want to see my checklist, I can see them from here. If I want to see all my live list, I just type in my eButterfly, and it will tell me here all my stats, which are quite bad, sorry. Or my profile, where you can actually type, who are you? And I just put bio. I should put something better. And you can update your password or your email. You can do it from here. And just to finish, the discussion forum. You can access the discussion forum, this entire platform where you can just geek out about butterflies. But also you can drill me with suggestions. We have food of the day, updates, butterfly identification, user stories, science, natural history, but also we have feature requests and bug reports. If you find a bug, you can just submit them here. And I will be have this open on my computer 24/7. Whenever I hear a bug report, a feature request, I take note, I send whatever emails are necessary so we can keep moving the ball forward. So anyways, things are happening all over the place. Again, this was super superficial. We are gonna have more webinars to go to explore these things more in detail, but feel free to ask via the help desk, and I'll be happy to hear from you. And I think I'm gonna stop it here so we can have a little chat. So first, I'm just gonna unmute you, Max, in case you want to participate in the Q&A.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And just gonna see all the questions here, or do you have any one that you want to highlight, Max?
I can't keep up to all the questions, but it's super exciting. I love getting all those questions, and I might actually need some help from you. Susan is asking, once a in the vetting process, once there was a disagreement, but then she accepts the correction from an identifier, she would like to be able to clean up those notifications that are now, I would say, completed. Yeah. Is there a way currently to do this? I'm a bad reference because I never clean up my notifications, but I wonder if there's a way for users to refresh and clean up those notifications that are considered closed.
Totally makes sense. So yes and no. So you can clear the bell, right? So as of now, you might have the little bell with like 250 something things. So you can clear that number and just zero it down. How you do you do it? You tap the bell and you see here that says clear all. So by clearing all, it will reset your bell. Why did I say yes and no? Because you can reset your bell, but you cannot clean the history down here. This one is just a history that is just there. We've heard from some users that might be nice to have, because sometimes it's so, for example, for me, that I'm a bit of OCD, just seeing this orange thing here like bugs me. So yes, we are considering it a way of just like deleting them, just like an email. Honestly, might not be top priority because it's not hindering the usage of the site, but totally we have it listed, and we were going to discuss it in due time. Did that answer the question? I guess it did, right?
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you.
Any else? If people wants to like just shout out questions, just hit the thumbs and I will unmute you. The thumbs up and I will unmute you so you can.
There's another question from Rick. Hi, Rick, by the way. Good seeing you. In the identify, he's wondering if there's a way for him to filter by time of year, creating a window from start, end time, and location in the identify page.
That's awesome. And yes, you can totally do that. So if you see in the advanced filters, you have here the start date and end date. So, however, you can do it by date, but a specific date, not months of the year. So as of now, but we have that on our to-do list and we are refining it. The plan is so you can filter from November to March, any year. That would be ideal. As of now, you have to do it from November 2023 to.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So, but we have the plans. It's already on our game plan to make that a bit more flexible.
There's another good question from Rick, following Cheryl's question. If I want to ingest all the observations from a butterfly count and individuals also want to input theirs, well, I would say in this case, it's basically sharing the checklists, right? Either you have several checklists for a butterfly count and you can share them with the people that were in your parties, or if there's only one large checklist for the butterfly count, then you can share it with every participant. There's no limit to how many people you can share the checklist with it. Bear in mind, it creates a duplicate copy of the checklist, but with no images. So it allows people to upload their own images of the butterflies they photographed. If there are in this count butterflies that they did not see because they weren't part of the party or they missed it, they also have the option to delete observations and species in their checklist, because that copy is fully independent from the one that the initial user shared it from. That way, it doesn't impact the checklist from the person that shared it. Basically, like it's managed on eBird.
Alternatively, you can also create, let's say it was a nav account. You create a user nav account. Okay. Then to all of your participants, you tell them, hey, when you submit, you select your location, do whatever you want, but here, share it with user nav account. So whenever the count is done, the user nav account will have condensed all of the checklists that every individual submitted, and in a single account. And furthermore, you can create a project, and that project, you can tell it to include only the user nav account, so that it will just gather all of those observations of that specific count.
There's Ovidio Nasson who downloaded the eButterfly app, entered all the credentials for the account, but when he clicks on sign up, it goes to a sign-in screen. So I'm wondering if you've heard of this, what seems to be a bug here.
I have never heard of that, but please...
Oh no, it goes to the sign-in screen, and yes, so a video. Then you can just sign in, and then it'll open. It'll allow you to start the checklist. Sorry, good thing I read it twice. And let us know a video if that actually worked for you, if you're still connected.
So okay, sorry, I think I saw Susan Kindinger. She wanted to ask something. So I think you can unmute now. Yes.
I'm sorry, Rodrigo. I think I hit it by mistake. Max already answered my question, though. I appreciate it.
Awesome. No worries. Good to hear you. Anyone else? Let's see if we have more Q&As here. Is there a way to generate a time of year window? Just download it. I think we are good. We're gonna share all of this. Oh, Peter, please. I think you can unmute yourself now. You need to unmute yourself. No, you're not unmuted. Oh, you're getting muted, Peter. I cannot hear you. Okay. Sorry, looks like he was very inspired. Peter, sorry, we cannot hear you. You're muted. There you go. Now you're unmuted.
Okay. Quickly, I use a camera in the field, have all my life, and I want to keep doing it because I get nice high resolution images. but there's no way I can use the camera and an iPhone connected in the field, right? I'd still have to bring the camera back to work on the images on my computer.
Yes,
It,
and yeah, Max, go for it.
well, it depends on the brand. Most recent cameras, Peter, actually now have an app that allows you to sync your images as your photo to your phone as you're photographing them in the field. So you could actually, if it's a Nikon actually does have an app that allows you to do that now, and I'm pretty sure Canon does. And yeah, so you should be able to. I have to admit that now that I've been using the mobile app, I have not been uploading as many images as I used to eButterfly, especially when I'm in my own neck of the woods. I've taken thousands of butterfly photos, but I can really see how this is valuable when you get out of your region and you really want to keep track of every butterfly, especially lifers that you see or stuff you don't see really often.
Also,
but yeah, so that would be the way, Peter, is to see if the camera brand that you have as a mobile app that you can download, so you can connect your camera to your phone, and then it syncs them to your phone. So I've actually been doing this with my Nikon in the last few years.
Okay, I'll look into it. I've got a Panasonic. I'll look into that. Thanks, Max.
Also,
Perfect.
the way that I do it is I keep my DSLR. That I'm never gonna let my DSLR out. So, but what I do is I'm with my cell phone and I'm doing my checklist on my cell phone without photos. I just create a checklist without photos and submit it. And once I'm back home, I sit down and I edit that checklist and upload the photos. So really quick, because people have asked me about that. How to do so? Super quick. You just from the page, let's say you just submitted a checklist, you go to the user menu, you go to my checklist, and ideally the very top one is going to be the last one that you submitted. So you just click the pencil icon here in observations, and from here you open again your checklist, and you can just here add your images, finish your submission, and there you go. So
I like that. That's great. That's what I'm going to do, Rodrigo. Thanks.
Awesome. No problem.
Yeah, that's also what I do sometimes when I know that I'm going to have a big batch of images to upload.
Yeah. Anyways, do I have any other questions around here? All good? Well, I think then we are good to go. Thank you so much. This was awesome. Again, I'm gonna be so happy to see your observations and your messages. Not only like asking questions or feedback or anything, just saying, hey, I would love to. But feel free to send me also feedback. That's the way we grow, and that's the way we've gotten to the place that we are right now. Just listening to all of our users, and we want to keep doing that. So please just keep the questions coming, and we'll be happy to answer them. Thank you so much. We'll upload this video very soon. And yeah, have a great rest of your day, wherever you are in the world. Thank you.
Big thanks to Rodrigo, and I swear he answers within 5 minutes when he gets a request for help. So you're in good hands, absolutely, with him behind the desk.
I second that. Absolutely.
Thanks, man. Okay.
Okay. Bye, everybody.